Welcome to my songwriting masterclass. So, I've been doing music for about 20 something years, and it all started with playing guitar, wanting to get the ideas out of my head, and then I went down the rabbit hole of computers, software, gear, etc. I'm sure you can relate if you're watching this. Now, smarter people than me would make a masterclass and just have everything planned out, but that's just not how I roll, so I want to make this feel organic. Today, we're going to talk about inspiration and where the song comes from. Everybody's different. We're all musicians, or we all have creative methods that lead us to where we want to be, whether we want to get there or not, when we want to get there, or when we're not ready to get there. I feel like for me personally, which is what I'm going to be speaking to you about, my own personal experience, for me, it all comes from input, just constant input. And by that, I mean listening to music. For most of my life, it felt like I was listening to music in order to get ideas of what I wanted to do. And it ended up with me having so many songs saved on my computer and my hard drives, my iPods, all that stuff, that some of the songs I didn't even like. There are some songs that I really dislike the entire song, but there's one little thing in the song that made me go, oof, I might want to do that one day. I can think of an example off the top of my head is Seven Things by Miley Cyrus. When that song came out, I said, this is the worst song I've ever heard in my life. This is a horrible message. This is an annoying hit. Like, it's an annoying hook, annoying chord progression. I really don't like this song. And then came the very, very last 15, 20 seconds where she's wrapping up the song and she goes, ooh, ooh, and they drown her vocal in reverb. And I said, that is wonderful. I want to do that in a song someday. I'm going to go ahead and bookmark this song, even though I hate the entire song, but this one little bit. That's been my life, just finding little bits here and there and kind of hoarding them either in my mind or in the hard drive somewhere and saying, one day I'm going to use some kind of idea like this and put it into a song. One day I'll do some sort of key change like this. That's me. I don't know about you. I don't know what you've done, but that's kind of what I've done. So for this particular song, at the time, Ellie Goulding had released, what was it, Love Me Like You Do? And yeah, 50 Shades of Grey had just come out. I had a girlfriend that dragged me into that theater. I fell asleep. I woke up to her smacking me and people around me laughing. And she's like, you were snoring during the love scene. I'm like, this isn't love. Regardless, that's not why we're here. I heard the song. And I said, this is an interesting kind of vibe. You've got this like lo-fi drum, but then it gets really big. And then you have this nice big full chorus. And I said, I want to make something kind of like that. So let's get started and show you what happened to get me there. First and foremost, I lost my hard drive years ago. About 2020, I lost my entire computer hard drive. I lost years of work. So I lost all of the original versions of this song, which would have been great for you to hear. Hey, here's where it started. Here's where it ended. But let me just let you hear where I was once I kind of got an idea going. This is where it really started right here. So I made that in Ableton using Machine and the Ableton stuff. And that's kind of where it began. And I had also some piano with it. The big deal for me was that clap. I did this like reverse clap thing that really caught my attention. And all that's happening there is just one clap reversed. And it just kind of goes into the original clap sample. And I just brought that sample down a little bit. Right here, you can see these two. So that was basically the vibe. That was the whole vibe. And I said, well, where do I go from here? What can I do with this? And that's why the song took about 12 years. Some songs just happen. Great songs, sometimes they just happen in a few hours and it's like, boom, there it is. And some artists swear that if the song isn't there immediately, it's not worth it. I am really glad I never followed that advice, because then this song wouldn't be what it is today. So I had that loop, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do as far as vocals or what the lyrics were going to be, but I knew that I had the idea of making some sort of duet. I wanted to have me and another person singing with me, preferably a female, because I wanted this like 80s power ballad vibe. At the time, I knew a singer named Amber De La Cruz, and she posted a picture on Instagram where the caption said, "Staring at the ceiling, hoping you might start believing we were perfect for each other." And I just remember seeing that and reading it and going, that's really good. Like, that's exactly how I want to start this song. So I ended up making this a little bit more flushed out. I added bass, piano, some synths. Let's bring in the piano, the synths, and the drums. And yeah, we'll start there, and the bass. And let's go ahead and hear that. Hear there's a little ding kind of thing in there. That's because I was thinking about that song Total Eclipse of the Heart, where somewhere in the chorus, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like finger cymbals or if it's some sort of percussion. I've looked it up. I can't find what the heck instrument that is. But there's this like how it goes, like just look up the song, listen to Total Eclipse from the Heart, and listen to the chorus, and you'll hear this like this ding kind of thing. And it was kind of like a staple for power ballads back then. I don't know what they used, but it was all over the place. And I wanted something like that. So I found an instrument. I think they're called like finger cymbals, and I just added that in there. Where are they? Cymbals. Yeah, finger cymbals right here. So it just kind of gave me that little... that right there. I just wanted that little bit somewhere in there. So once I had this foundation, and I like to have the chorus done, because if you finish the chorus, I like to think that once you have this whole chunk of meat, this whole meal, the rest is just taking things away, so that when the chorus comes in, there's this big impact. There's all these things happening, and it just hits you. I once had a friend I worked with tell me that in order to make an intro really pop for him, like he was in a metalcore band, and I would ask him, how do you get those awesome intros where like you just come in like ba 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 ba? How is it so big? And he said, I make the intro really quiet. It's not that I make the verse and the chorus very big. It's that I make the intro this quiet little synth part or whatever, and then it goes like he'll do a riff like and it's like lo-fi guitar, and then it just goes and it just pops. So I thought that was one of those things that just clicked. This whole song, this whole project, something happened while I was mixing this and putting it together back in like 2017 or 18, where all the lessons I've learned, all the techniques that I studied over the years just kind of clicked in this project. And it was like, oh, light bulb. Like, I know what I'm doing and I know what I want and how to get it. And that had never happened to me before. It was always a struggle. How do I get the mix to do this? How do I get the drums to do that? But for this song, it just kind of came together. So I'll show you what happened with the vocal intro. And it started like this. Actually, the very first thing you hear, this is the first song on the album, and this is the very first sound you hear is the sonogram of my son in the womb. That's his heartbeat. The end of the album is my son's first cry, which I thought was pretty cool. Some reverse guitars there. And the lyric.
I've been staring at ceiling, thinking you might start believing we were perfect for each other. But it's been kinda hard believing I gotta hide this feeling, 'cause we're trying to be survivors. Messy and restless, I'm feeling this is something so much more than a dream. Learning my lessons, getting perspective, something about the way she's looking at me. It says, say anything, 'cause I'm listening, I'm listening. We've got one life, let's make it a dream. You've got a chance, so take it on me. We've got one life, let's make it a dream. You've got a chance, so take it on me.
Okay, so right there, you hear what I'm talking about. I had this chorus done. Like, I had everything I wanted there. And all I had was that first line of the vocal from that Instagram post. And after a couple of days at work at Guitar Center and kind of working around stuff and letting myself forget about the song, it just kind of came to me. Like, this say anything because I'm listening just kind of popped into my head. Now, there's no real way to force yourself to be inspired. It just kind of comes, at least for me. Again, I'm talking about personal experience. It's different for everybody. For me, it's disconnecting and just doing the work outside of the music. That means do anything other than music. So live, go to work, work out, clean your house, don't clean your house, whatever, but you need to not be thinking about the song. And in the back of your head, you kind of do know, like, hey, could this maybe work? But if you obsess over it, then you burn out and you don't want to do it anymore. So this song has been this like pet peeve in the back of my mind for 12 years. And every so often I'd get an idea, but the bulk of this song happened within the first month, which is, the drums, the piano. I had basically the piano, synths, drums and the bass was all there before I had vocals for it. And then I had that first vocal line. And then I wasn't sure where I was going to go. I just knew I was like, I need a hook. I need a really good hook. And the hook that I had originally was like, say anything, 'cause I'm listening, like really, really gritty. But I was like, man, that just, first of all, it's hard to sing. It wasn't that low. It was like way up there. And it was like, 'cause I'm listening. And I was like, dude, that's way too high and it's going to be a pain to perform. So I started to experiment with the listening, like for no reason, go into this falsetto and kind of whisper it. And it just worked, especially with the right amount of delay and reverb. That's another thing. Like sometimes it's not just the performance, but sometimes an effect can make the song. Like, again, I just input information, and before I was making the song, I would watch stuff like music documentaries, like The Dark Side of the Moon, the making of The Dark Side of the Moon, and they show the session for I wish I could remember. I think it's Echoes. Man, I'm embarrassing myself. I can't remember the name of the song right now, but once the delay gets taken off the vocal, it's a totally different song. Like, hello, is there anybody in there? Just nod if you can hear me. And then he turns on the delay. Hello, 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 is there anybody in there? There? And it was like, holy crap, like the song is not the song without that simple delay. And sometimes that's what you need. That's why you record it. That's why you get it down. Again, we're going to go throughout this series. We're going to go into this project really in depth and go track by track. And I'll answer any questions you guys have. But this is the introduction. This is me talking about the inspiration, where the song came from, how it happened. So after I had that and I had the hook, I knew I was onto something here. So I talked to the girl that posted the picture with those lyrics on the first part of the line, and I said, obviously I wanted to work with her on it because she's already performing and stuff, and I knew she's a great singer. So I reached out and I let her hear it. I said, hey, listen to this. And she was like, oh my gosh, that's my line. I was like, I know, dude, like it works. And she was like, dude, we got to do something with this. So then I had her come over for a session, and she did writing for her verse. And then she and I sat down and wrote a bridge. If you know anything about songwriting, you know that the bridge is the most powerful roadblock for any songwriter. It's just a pain. And a lot of people at that time, around 2016, 2017, it was sooner than that. It was like 2013, 2014, something like that, man. It was a long time ago. So back then, people were just not doing a bridge, and they would have like a guest star rapper for no reason, just like, here's a pop song, and then in the middle, and it's like, wait, where's the bridge? It's some asshole just rapping. Or they would have like a random musical break, or they would repeat the pre-chorus again. Like, they would not write a bridge. And I was like, no, there needs to be a bridge. That also goes into this right here. You'll notice my markers: intro, verse, hook 1, verse, pre-chorus, stop, full hook, guitar solo, bridge, full hook, outro, end. I like to structure my sessions like that because I like to know, hey, I've actually got a full composition here. It's not just like a bunch of hooks, which can work. That's how K-pop took over during the pandemic. K-pop is like 10 seconds hook, 10 seconds hook. Like, it's ADD music for sure. And I love it. It's just, man, that's a whole nother world. Anyway, so she came up with this verse right here, and I'll let you hear it. This is her lyrics.
Can't hide these feelings, don't have a reason. Something about the way she's looking at me.
Your eyes are glowing through smoking. This tension's rising. Hold words back long enough, lying, cause it's just too much to let you in. Hear that again. Can't fight this feeling. God, you're a sweet sense. So
Say anything, cause I'm listening. I'm listening. We've got one life, let's make it a dream.
So right there, we have her part, and then I come in with the hook, and she's doing the backing vocal to my part, the harmony. And now it's a duet. Now she's introduced herself into the track. She's a part of it. And then we sing together. And then it goes into the guitar solo part, which is super cool.
Got a chance, so take it on me. When I don't know where I am, and I don't know what I've lost. When I search for everything, but I don't know what I've got. I just got this feeling, I got to believe it. Inside me, it's screaming, so give me a reason to say anything, cause I'm listening. I'm listening. We've got one life, let's make it a dream. We've got a chance, so take it on me. We've got one life, let's make it a dream. You've got a chance, so take it on me.
And the real win for me was, not only did I make what I personally felt like was a hit, it was 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I mean, that's classic radio burn ratio. Like 3 minutes, 30 seconds, 3 minutes, 40 seconds. That's right in the pocket of where you want to be, where you don't lose people's attention span and you can replay the song and not get too sick of it. So I really felt like, man, I'm going somewhere with this. Of course, I didn't. It took me 12 years to release it, and then when I did, no one cared. But I love this song. Like, this is, for a long time, guys, I felt like if I finish this song, I'm gonna die, because I felt like it was my life's work, and that once I finished the song, there's no more life for me to have. I know that's insane. Now that I have children and a wife, it's insane. But back then, all I had was this song and the other songs in the album. And I was afraid to finish. I was afraid to finish because I was like, well, what do I have to work on next? What am I going to do? So the inspiration is there. It was a combination of collaboration and 50 Shades of Grey. Listening to the Ellie Goulding song and going, yeah, I kind of want to capture that vibe. Experimenting with new gear. Sometimes new gear does help. I bought a Machine Studio for this, and I just got all these great samples out of it, and I was really excited. So I also layered it with some acoustic drums. And there's a cello performance. This is a coworker I had at the time at Guitar Center, and she was a manager. She's a very talented classical pianist and cellist. I don't know. I'm not smart. But cool story. So she actually came after like a long shift, and she closed, and we were up until like midnight, 1 a.m. recording these cello parts. It was all in one night. And man, it was a special night because I had this unfinished bathroom, and we had just ripped everything out and laid down tile. So the whole bathroom was literally just tile. No toilet, no tub, nothing. Just tile everywhere, which made it sound very cool. She sat in the middle of it. I put on some mics. I did a CV12, and then I did the E935 I'm talking to you through right now. And then, that's it. I basically did the CV12 and the E935 mono, and then layered them. I just tracked her performance multiple times. So what you're seeing here is one take right here. So the red, this is one take, and then a second take, and a third take. So she did the original intro 3 times, and then she did all this right here. So when you hear this, it sounds like multiple cellos. It's just her in one. I really want you to copy what I'm singing and layer it with a melody. So that's establishing the hook melody. You've got this one melody that's really catchy, and you want to accentuate it. In this case, I chose cello, which, I mean, if you've got it, dude, flaunt it. She did such a good job on this. And there's also somewhere in here in the effects section, right here, rain sample. So that night that she came over, it was pouring rain, and I had this, it's just a little square above the bathroom where the sunlight could come through, and the rain was hitting the plastic cover, and it sounded so good. So before she showed up, I noticed that when I was setting up the microphones, hey, I can hear all this rain, and I recorded it. There it is. A little bit of rain asthma. So that's a really cool transitional effect that happens only in that section, and it just gives it that little character.
Take it on me. Can't hide these feelings, don't have a reason. Something about the way she's looking at me.
Your eyes are glowing through smoke, and this tension's rising. Hold words back long enough, like.
And her verse starts. So that, that's just capturing little magical moments here or there that are all over this song, and I really, really like that. So I think that's a good place to stop for now. I went over the inspiration, I went over the structure and how I got there. Again, most of this was just taking things away. It's basically the hook is happening in the verses. I just took stuff away. I muted some snares. I muted like the loop section here. This right here, if I go to the EDM drums, Like, you just take things away and you bring them back for the hook, and then suddenly you've got movement, you've got dynamics. And there we go. I mean, that's the song. It's called Say Anything. I have the link for it in the description for this video in case you want to hear it in full. And we're going to go into this. We're going to go into vocals. We're going to go into bass, guitars. We're going to go into the mix. We're going to go into the master bus. We're going to go into the drums. I really want to do this because, one, I'm running out of pedals. I'm running out of ideas and pedals for all those videos, and I want to do something that's educational, that hopefully brings something to your life that's useful. And I want your songs to sound the best they can. I almost went to the Guitar Institute of Technology and landed myself in endless debt for nothing to end up working at Guitar Center with other people with the same debt. So thank God I didn't do that. And instead, I just taught myself everything I could, and I learned from other very talented people and surrounded myself with brilliant people that shared their knowledge with me. And if it weren't for those people, I wouldn't be able to do this for you. So I feel like it's only right that I share what knowledge I have, what little I know, to help you. For free. I mean, I'm not selling a class. This is all, it's always going to be up. It's always going to be here. And you're going to be able to refer to it and say, hey, what was that thing? So sorry that it's kind of rough. Sorry that this isn't the best quality. Actually screen recording is a pain in the butt for me, but I figured it out. And I really hope that you guys get something out of this. So next week, let's see. I think that maybe we should go into vocals or maybe keyboards. Let me know in the comments what you want to go into next. Do you want to go into bass, guitars, strings, synths, drums, mixing? I mean, we've got a lot of automation going on in this mix. You can't see it right now because it's all selected like that, but this is a total of 246 tracks. It's just that I have them in folders. But if I were to open I'm so sorry. I'm going to show you the insanity of this session and why it took me 12 years to finish it. And this is all organized. This isn't insane. You'll see everything has a name, a very clear name. We'll go into that. It's very important that you name everything. I don't want to see names on projects that say instrument 46-B. Like, no, dude, what is it? This is cello, CV12, center, cello, CV12, right. What this is. I made this so that if, God forbid, I died and I couldn't finish it, a friend of mine could open the session and be like, okay, I know what the hell is going on here. Good. So this is this is insane. This is the project. This is all the drums in green, all the drum layers. This is the piano. This is all the cellos, clean guitar, distorted guitars, one bass track. This is the vocals, my vocals and her vocals. And this is the effects buses. So this is pretty insane, and we are going to go through all of it. So let me know what you want to hear about this next. If you want to go into particular instruments, particular mixing aspects, and I will gladly do that for the next session. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. And as always, go play guitar.